Hey there, Norman here from WoCode, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Chart Connect widget. The new Chart Connect widget creates a stylish, interactive chart on your site. This widget features 6 eye-catching chart layouts that are sure to keep your visitors engaged, and it's conveniently powered by Google Sheets, meaning updates can be made to the chart data without needing to ever republish or log into the site editor. The chart, as mentioned, is interactive, giving you the ability to filter the content as well as hover the data on the chart to see more information about that data. So let's go ahead and jump into the builder here and take a look at how we're going to set this widget up. So here in the builder, we have our lead generation template. And if we scroll down to just before the happy customers sharing love section, I'd like to add a new row just above this section. And I'd like to put in that row the Chart Connect widget in order to show off the year-over-year leads generated by this company as a metric for the site visitors to see exactly how many leads they've generated for various clients over the years. If we jump into our preview URL, we can see exactly the design we're going to be creating. We can see the Chart Connect here is displaying data, and hovering the data, we can see exactly what the data is for that value. For example, if we take this bar right here and we hover it over, we can see that in 2021, this company generated 1,200 leads using online ads. So let's jump back into the builder and start getting this widget set up. Here on the builder, let's start by creating that new row. So we'll go add row above. Next, let's open up our widgets panel. Let's grab that Chart Connect and drag and drop it right into that new row. Great. Now, we're going to do a quick bit of prep work before we continue into the widget itself. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to set the row itself to be full bleed. Next, what I want to do is I want to open up the column that is holding the widget, and I want to give it a 100 top and bottom padding. And then we can just grab this blue square on the bottom right of the Chart Connect and resize it. Okay, so now let's jump into the widgets option panel and take a look at how to set this up. Here in the content panel, we'll start at the top and work our way down. The first option we have is a unique ID field. The unique ID field will be used when there are more than one Chart Connect widgets on a page. Below that, we have our data source option. Here, you will choose which source you'll use as the source for your content, either a Google Sheet or a CSV file. For this example, we'll stick to the Google Spreadsheet option. Next, below that, we have the Google Spreadsheet URL. This field is where you will add the shareable link from your Google Spreadsheet. And before we demonstrate that, I just wanted to mention that if you change the data source to use the local CSV option as shown here, this field will change to then allow you to link to the CSV file you have uploaded to your site. To do this, you'll simply click the link to page button and scroll down to File for Download. From here, you can then upload your CSV file and then select and link that in your Chart Connect. But again, we're going to stick to our Google Spreadsheet option. Following that, we have a hyperlink that when clicked will take you to the Google Sheet. Now, I already have a spreadsheet set up with all the necessary data for this example, so I won't be setting this up from scratch here, but I will be going over how to set the spreadsheet up right now. Starting from the first column and working our way to the right, we have the label column. This is where you will add the labels that will be shown for each chart value for when you hover the data on the chart, as well as the chart legend on the top of the widget. Next, we have the chart values column. This column is where you will add the actual data for each label. You can use a single value in this column, or you can add multiple values and simply separate them using colons, as shown in the template. Following that, we have columns C through H, which are all related to colors. We have the background color, which is where you will set the background color for each chart value. We have hover background color, which sets the color that is shown when you hover the data value on the chart. We have the border color, which sets the color of the border for each chart value. The hover border color, which changes the color of the border for each chart value when hovered. We have point color, which sets the color of the point for each chart value when using the chart type line or radar. And we have the hover point color, which changes the color of the point for each chart value when hovered. Something to note when adding colors into the columns, multiple colors can be used, with each color being separated by a colon. This is true for all columns with the exception of the hover background color. For this column, only one color can be used. So if you were to add multiple colors separated by colons into that field, the widget would only use the last color in the list. Also, it's very important to note the way the colors are assigned to the chart values is that the order in which the colors are added into a field will correlate to the order of the chart values. As shown in the image on screen, the first color will be shown for the first chart value, then colon, followed by the second color being assigned to the second chart value, then colon, followed by the third color being assigned to the third chart value, and so on and so on. The Google Sheet accepts a number of different ways of adding colors into the field. You can use the color hex code, you can use the RGBA color code, or even just the name of the color itself by just typing the color's name. So if you wanted to use red, for example, you can just type the word red in place of a color code and that will work. Lastly, one important thing to note about the template is that it's very important to maintain the original template structure, meaning the first two rows should remain unchanged. All your data should be added on row 3 and down. If the first two rows are changed in any way, it could affect the Chart Connect widget from being able to properly display the information from the Google Sheet. So with that said, I'm going to quickly update this spreadsheet with my information, and then we'll be right back and we'll go over how to grab that URL and add it into the widget. Okay, now that I have my own content added into the spreadsheet, let's first confirm that we are logged into our Google account, which I am. Next, we can use the green share button on the top right, and we want to change the general access to anyone with the link. After that, we can click the copy link button, jump back into the builder, and then we can paste that into the Google Sheet URL. And just like that, we can see that the chart has instantly populated with our Google Sheet content. So let's keep working down this content panel. Following the Google Sheet URL, we have the chart type. This will change the type of chart layout the widget will display. There are 6 different options in here, all with various designs. And for this example, we're going to stick to the bar type. Below that, we have the axis and tooltip data prefix and axis and tooltip data suffix. These allow you to add a prefix or suffix to the data value on the chart's axis and tooltip. So for example, if you wanted your chart value to be shown as dollars, you would add the $sign into the prefix. And now we see here that this has now become $1,200. Or alternatively, if you wanted it to be cents, you can add the cent symbol for the suffix. And now this has become 1,200 cents. So we'll delete those because we don't need those. Following that, we have the display chart title. This, when enabled, will allow you to show or hide the chart title. So for this example, we want to enable the title. And then we want to change the title to say leads generated by year. And I misspelled generated there with my quick typing. Perfect. Below that, we have our labels. Labels can be added to represent the chart value. So for this example, we want to display 3 years worth of data. So I'll add 3 labels for 2020 through 2022. So now, if we open up our label and we scroll up and change this to 2020, we can close this widget. And we see here now that we have a 2020 label on the bottom of the chart. So I'll open this back up. We can add a label. We'll change this to be 2021. And then we will add one more label to be 2022. And now if we close the panel, we can see here we have our 2020 data, our 2021 data, and our 2022 data. Following the labels, we have add empty labels if needed. This setting will add empty labels to the chart. Labels are required in order to allow all the content from the spreadsheet to display. If this setting is disabled and there are not an equal number of labels within the widget's options panel as there are in the spreadsheet, then not all of the content from the spreadsheet will be able to be displayed in the widget. It's recommended to simply keep this setting enabled at all times. And then below that, we have our animations toggle, which will allow you to enable or disable the loading animation as well as an animation duration timer. And that's all for the content panel. Let's jump right into the design tab and take a look at how to style this widget. Here in the Design tab, you'll find extensive styling options. Most of the design options are related to text styling, which are pretty self-explanatory, as well as quite a lot of additional options related to each specific chart type. Far more options that I can reasonably go over in one video. But with that being said, I would definitely recommend checking out our excellent training doc for the Chart Connect widget for a far more in-depth understanding of what each of those design options do. However, there are some settings specifically pertaining to the chart type bar that we're using in this example that I did want to highlight. The first of those, if we scroll down and locate the bar chart styling panel, that I wanted to go over is the group data. When enabled, this will group the bars together based on labels instead of showing them individually. We can see how that looks here if I enable this option. So first we can see we have 3 bars, but if we go ahead and group data, then those bars become one single bar with 3 individual sections. We're going to disable that for this example. Below that, we have the begin chart scale at 0. When enabled, it shows the chart scale starting at 0, and when disabled, the chart scale will start at the lowest number in the chart value column of the spreadsheet. For this example, we want to enable this option, but I'll demonstrate what that looks like enabled and disabled. So currently, the begin chart scale at 0 option is disabled. The smallest chart value in the spreadsheet is 400, so the chart is starting at 400. Now when we enable that, we can see that the chart now starts at 0 and this 400 value is now displayed. And that's basically all there is for setting up this demo for this example. The rest of the default settings are perfect for our site, and we can leave those alone. And the rest of the content in the widget is set up in the Google Sheet. So now that we've ran through the styling options for this widget, let's take a look at our site using the preview URL. However, I did want to mention once again, there are quite a number of chart-specific options in the design panel. I definitely recommend checking out our in-depth training doc on the Chart Connect for a much more in-depth understanding of those settings. So let's close this widget. Let's grab our preview URL. Let's open up a new tab and let's take a look at that site. Scrolling down, we can find the Chart Connect widget that we just set up. And there it is. It looks great. We can hover over each bar to view more information about its value, as well as use the filters on the top to filter out information that we don't want to see. And that is all there is for the Chart Connect widget. As you can see, it is a powerful yet super easy to set up and super easy to style widget that's perfect for showing off data on your site in a stylish and engaging way. With that said, my name is Norman Durkee, and you've been rocking with the best website builder platform on the planet, wocode.com. And until next time, and as always, if you have any questions, please reach out to support. We're always here to help.